Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Justice League issue number 25. Dude, this was so good that I could have sworn that James Tynion IV wrote this. That is a super huge compliment, especially to Jeff Johns. Jeff Johns didn't write this either, but he could have because it was done that well. Scott Snyder doing probably, well, easily one of the best Justice League books that he's done this run. One of the best ones ever. This was fantastic. It's also an extra thick book. They're only charging extra buck for it. I think it's more than worth it. But it's nice and fat and thick, and it's awesome. This issue is called The Sixth Dimension Conclusion. Scott Snyder and George Jimenez do the plot. Snyder does the words, Jimenez on art. Alejandro Sanchez does the the colors. Tom Napolitano on letters. Jimenez and Sanchez do the cover. Jim Chung and Tomio More do the variant cover. And of course, Superman was created by Jerry Siegel, Joe Shuster, and there was a whole bunch of other characters in here created by a whole bunch of other cool people. So this is going to finish up the arc. Make no mistake, finishing the arc doesn't mean anything because this is an all-inclusive story. There is no such thing as a jumping on point with this story. Even issue 1 is not a jumping on point for this comic book. No, you got to go way back, dude. Way back in the Wayback Machine, that the hot tub time machine and all that stuff, man. What do you call it? This goes way further than that. Dark Knight's Metal, at the very least, that's where you have to start. Maybe you can get away with starting out with Justice League No Justice, those 4 issues, but nah, man, you have to read everything. You need to. You will be confused jumping in this, and good luck trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Even if somebody's sitting there explaining to you, you're just going to be like, okay, F it, I just need to read the book. The Superman-Batman relationship is... It really defines who Superman is, and it especially defines who Batman is, and how the relationship actually works. I could see maybe some people being upset over this, thinking Batman actually tried to kill Superman. He didn't. This was just their friendship personified. To me, this shows that deep, not just understanding, but love for these two characters by Snyder. This was solid. This was so good. Superman's one of those characters that, like, how do you feel? It's like feeling bad for freaking Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon. You know, saying the richest man in the world, the richest man who ever existed on the face of the planet, besides maybe Mansa Musa, maybe. You know what I'm saying? But this guy, whew, it's hard to feel bad for Superman sometimes because he's got everything, and other people do have it far worse, including his own story. Martian Manhunter has it worse, right? But in this, you're feeling bad for Superman. You're like, my hero is going to die, and it's believable, and you're like, there is no way out of this. You also, like, the storytelling is so damn good. Not just, and the storytelling is attributed to Jimenez as well as Snyder. I don't know if that's just Snyder being generous or not. He seems like a pretty generous guy to me. But I'm telling you straight up, man, whoever was responsible for the whole lighting the Kent family lantern, it all makes sense in this, and it's perfect. Listen to me when I use this word, and I don't use it surreptitiously. The story is perfect. And then the scene, here's part of the story, man, when Jimenez draws the 3 characters who are flying forward, and hope, it's not an S, it's the word for hope, the symbol for hope on Krypton. It's going to get you, man. It's going to get you. You look at those 3 images, brother. Oh, man, this is a great Superman story, but it's not just Superman. And we get a new member of the Justice League. We already knew that little the little baby from Manhunter and Hawk Woman was this Hawk Girl actually was going to be in the Justice League. We get a new member of the Justice League, and it's shades of Hickman's Avengers run. I'm going to leave it at that. Anybody who read that run will know exactly the Avengers world. You're going to know exactly what I'm talking about, and you'll be like, "Oh yeah, hey man, it kind of is." But it works. It works, so I'm good with it. This doesn't feel like wholesale copying to me. This feels like this story was already written, and this is just a different take on it, and I love it. Afterwards, all the times this book can end and it refuses to, because there's so much more story to be told in here. I love this book, man. I love this. The conversation that we find in retrospect with Lex Luthor, definitely make sure you read this after you've read the Year of the Villain thing, the DC's that 25-cent one that's free on comic book stores at this point right now. That one. Make sure you read that before you read this, because you're not going to understand like what's going on with Luthor. Yeah, that happened. Anyway, great book. This is not a good book. This is a great book. Definitely check it out. Definitely go back to Dark Knight's Metal and read them all just so that you can get to this issue, because it's worth it. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.